Hi, my name is Chaitanya Roygaga, and I will now present our paper, Understanding Human-Like Biases in VLMs via Subjective Face Analytics. Vision language models are increasingly being used to reason about people, not just objects. In practice, this shows up in hiring tools, social robots, mental health monitoring, and human-AI interaction systems. Even when these systems don't explicitly predict traits, they often implicitly rely on subjective judgments. The core risk is that these judgments are not neutral. We don't know how these judgments are represented internally, or whether models silently reproduce human social biases tied to race, gender, or facial cues. So, the core question we ask in this work is, can we audit and control how VLMs form subjective impressions from faces? Subjective face attributes are not end decisions, but they strongly influence downstream behavior. They affect who we trust, who we hire, how robots interact with people, and how AI systems personalize responses. These attributes are highly context dependent and known to encode social bias in humans. Our method's framing is intentionally practical. We do not claim that predicting an attribute like trustworthiness is desirable by itself. Instead of treating them as ground truth, we treat them as diagnostic signals, interpretable intermediate signals that reveal how a model reasons about people in the real systems. By studying how models encode these signals, we gain visibility into their latent social reasoning that would otherwise remain hidden. Our evaluation pipeline has three lightweight stages designed to be practical and deployable. First is face grounding. We mask facial regions, specifically eyes, mouth, nose, and eyebrows, to verify that a model's predictions actually rely on facial cues, not background or spurious signals. Second is subjective score prediction. Models are asked to predict normalized scores between 0 and 1, which we then compare against human annotated labels. The third stage is embedding space alignment. For this, we use image text similarity and pairwise ranking agreement rather than absolute scores. This makes the evaluation robust and annotation efficient, even suitable when human labels are noisy. All three steps together give us an audit pipeline that works without retraining and scales across models. A key finding is that prompt choice dramatically affects bias and alignment. Using a standard prompt like a photo of a trustworthy face, we see only moderate alignment with human judgments, often below 60%. We introduce context relevant generated captions. These are face specific, attribute specific, and we generate multiple captions per image. This single change leads to 25 to 35% relative improvement in human model agreement across models and datasets. This tells us something important, that VLMs encode latent context sensitive social reasoning, but this only emerges when we probe them correctly. These results are not just diagnostic, they're actionable. This framework enables three concrete deployment tools. The first is bias diagnosis. We can identify which contexts amplify stereotypes. Then we have model comparison. Face specialized and web scale models behave very differently under the same prompts. Finally, the framework gives us prompt level control. It requires no model retraining, and explicit embedding updates are not required either. It works entirely at inference time. The key insight is that alignment is not fixed, it can be controlled. This shifts bias handling from a post hoc cleanup problem to a design time decision. So, what should practitioners actually do? Our deployment guidance is simple. Reliance on single prompts should be reduced. VLM should be evaluated under context variation, and subjective attributes can be used as early warning signals, audit tools, and debiasing handles. The main takeaway is that responsible deployment requires modeling how impressions form, not pretending they don't exist. If VLMs are going to interact with people, we need tools that make their social reasoning visible, diagnosable, and controllable. Thank you.